Hello, avid readers, book nerds, and casual observers. Welcome to the read-along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and this is our read-along of Star Wars Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston.
Welcome, everyone, to week 3 of Star Wars Queen's Shadow. I had to think for a second.
That's okay. We really don't have to do the title. That's already been done.
That's true. But welcome to week 3.
Week 3. Chapters 7 and 8 today.
Yeah. 2 chapters.
Yeah, both kind of long, but very good.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Padme adjust to the new job was interesting. Mm-hmm. And then also, we got to see Sabe adjusting to her new job, which was sad.
Yes, the job title of Slave Liberator is a difficult one.
Yeah. And she's just destroyed by it not being enough. And I can appreciate that. I think that is probably relatable in some ways. If we're thinking about marginalized groups today, seeking liberty, it just feels like it's an unending task. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, first thing we get is a glimpse into the Senate life. Mm-hmm. We do get, she's not name dropped, but we do, I
was totally going to talk about this.
The senator from Chandrilla who's got red hair, skinny red-haired lady.
Yes, I was like, it's Mon Mothma. There she is.
Yes. There she is. What an icon.
I don't know if I would have picked that up as quickly if it weren't for Andor.
I definitely wouldn't have.
Because I don't think that I knew before Andor what planet she was associated with. So, because of Andor and knowing that Mothma was from Chandrilla, it was super easy to pick it up.
Yes.
Which was cool. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully we'll see more of her.
And the first thing that Padme does, the first thing that she votes on, is to vote against the Trade Federation.
Yes.
Which I thought was funny. Even though it didn't pass, it was funny.
Yeah. And she's also incredibly frustrated by Senate life. And how the first day of voting went. Because nothing got done.
No.
So
I think she said, there wasn't nearly enough. She did all the preparatory reading, but she still didn't feel like she had a firm enough grasp on the issues to actually be able to give an educated vote on them. And that so many things were just kicked back into negotiating. So many things didn't pass that she felt should have passed. So it was just this is my escapism.
Yeah, a little bit. For sure. Just the bureaucracy. Yeah.
It's very difficult. And then she has a little after party with all the new senators. And some old senators too, because Organa was there. It's not like he's new. Yeah. But this is where she learned that this is where a lot of the work happens. This is where a lot of the negotiating and the wheeling and dealing is happening at these little shindigs. So she's realizing what this job really entails and how it's a lot of networking and alliance making and scheming, getting votes, from your other senators, and it's just very different.
So she's going to have to make some adjustments to the Amidala persona that they've been cultivating.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, we see the difference as movie watchers between Queen Amidala and Senator Amidala. Senator Amidala, well, it's hard because Queen Amidala, we see the decoy for so long in the movie, but Senator Amidala is certainly much warmer. So it's kind of cool that we're getting to see the thought process of changing that persona.
Yeah. She in my mind, when she's a senator in the movies, she's much more of like a kind of bleeding heart,
Mm-hmm.
empathetic, like wants to do what's best for people
Mm-hmm.
type person, you know.
Which
But then,
she is in when she's queen too, but it's
but
all for
she's
Naboo.
but she's much colder,
Yes.
you know, as Queen Amidala talking to the Senate. She's much colder and more scathing,
Mm-hmm.
which you can chalk up to like the circumstances. But I
Sure.
feel like there's more to it than that. There's
Oh,
like,
for sure.
which they talk about how like before she could be that way because she was the queen and like, you know, people weren't going to question her. She's the queen, but now she has to actually like
Get
focus
people
a little
to
more.
like her.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Increasing the warmth a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is going to happen for sure.
Yeah. Which will be good.
Hmm.
Um, we met Senator Clovis.
That name was really familiar, but I couldn't
Me
ping.
too. And I was hoping you would know why it was so familiar.
I want to say that perhaps it's a Clone Wars reference. Maybe that's a character from
Ooh,
Clone Wars.
maybe. That would make sense. Because at first
You
I
want
thought
to
it was
Google it?
Andor, but then I was like, I don't think so. I don't think. Unless that's the name of Mon Mothma's assistant as well.
Scipio. Yes, it is a Clone Wars reference. Okay.
Okay.
Um. Hmm. He was a leader of the banking clan during the final years of the Clone Wars.
Oh.
Interesting. Betrayed the Republic to fund weapons development for the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on this guy.
Right.
He may seem like a friend, but he may not be.
Disgraced and removed from the Senate for his betrayal, but later sought out, for reasons in the show. So, interesting. So, yeah, he's going to end up becoming a separatist.
Interesting. Okay.
So, that's interesting.
Well, I'm glad his name wasn't familiar just for unknown reasons.
Right.
I'm glad it actually
So,
was a familiar name.
yeah. I feel like what's going to happen is he's going to become really disillusioned by how the Senate works and really frustrated, and that's going to make him susceptible to the whispers of Count Dooku, Sir Christopher Lee.
Yes. Well, there was also the comment that I can't remember the name of the senator that Padme was talking about. It was the one that not about two. It was the one that Palpatine passed her off to, and he went to go do whatever he was doing.
That one wasn't familiar to me, but
No, me either. But she said something like, "Well, no." The other senator said something to the effect of like, "Oh, you'll get used to it. No one trusts the Senate." And Padme was like, "Well, I trust it."
oh, I think
And
she
the
said
other,
I think she said the Republic, or
the
like nobody
Republic.
has faith. Nobody has faith in the Republic,
Okay.
and she was like, "I do."
And the other senator's like, okay.
Ha! She's drank the Kool-Aid. Right.
So it was interesting.
Yeah. So we're kind of knee deep in the whole political intrigue of it all. The tabloids are having a field day with her, and
Yeah.
that's frustrating for her. But it's explained by the senator that she's talking to that it's because she already has the notoriety and
Right.
she's the new kid in town. Like, there's so many reasons, there's so many boxes that she checks as to why
Right.
tabloids would talk about her. So,
Right. Yeah. It's like, you're the reason the last chancellor got ousted. So people know you. It's like,
right.
oh, yeah. Good point. Valid
Yeah.
point.
So, yeah, it was an interesting chapter. Got a peek under the hood of the Senate, which is, a wretched hive of scum and villainy. But speaking of Tatooine quotes,
Yes.
Mos
We're in-
Espa.
I was going to say, we were in Mos Espa with Sabe.
Yes, no longer Sabe. Add an N. Good enough.
and Tonra, whose name
Yeah.
is not Nabooish anyway, so he gets to keep his name. That was funny.
It was funny. So I thought it was interesting that Padme kind of sent her on this mission to find Shmi.
Yes.
But Shmi is nowhere to be found.
And also, she said that the Toydarian is also gone, which is interesting because Watto is definitely there when they go in season
Right.
2. So where is
Right.
he?
I think I'm chalking it up to their botched approach, where
Yeah.
I think that because there are anti-slavery people on Tatooine, apparently, that I forget how they botched it. She went and talked to them first, or she talked to the criminals first. Either way,
She talked to the criminals first.
she basically managed to spook everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that Watto made himself scarce.
Okay. That makes sense. He's smart.
Right.
Annoyingly so. Sort of. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a complicated little dude.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's like he's gonna turn up because he's around in episode 2 when Padme and Anakin show up on Tatooine.
But I think that Sabe is not going to know. She's not going to find out what happens to Shmi because
No.
Padme does not know what happened to Shmi. You know, in episode 2. So, and it also like never comes up, like the things that Padme was trying to do. At least in the movie, we can assume
Right.
that maybe they had conversations behind closed doors about how she tried to go back
Well,
and all
just
this
to remind
stuff.
you that these books were written at like almost 20 years after those movies came out.
Right.
So these are definitely retrofitted.
Yeah.
But I think are giving Padme some well-deserved character development. So I appreciate it.
And Sabe.
Yes.
I thought it was funny so she gets to have a hollow chat with Padme at the end there, and Padme mentions how, oh no, Sabe is like, we're gonna redo it, we're gonna reapproach, and Buddy is gonna be the face of it now
Because I screwed it up so bad.
because I screwed up so bad, and he's more intimidating, and people are scared of him. And Padme's like, people are scared of you too. And she's like, people that know me are scared of me. But I am just a petite little girl, and I am not intimidating at first glance,
Yeah.
like Mr. Big Burly Naboo guard.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. There was a mention of like one of the motivations behind freeing the slaves was because of the displacement that the like human race committed against the natives of Naboo, which is their quote eternal shame. So I just thought that was an interesting call out.
I assume those are the Gungans.
Yeah, it has to
Or
be.
is there somebody
Like,
else that was also displaced?
I get the well, because the Gungans and the humans kind of had a significant rift,
For sure.
so like they didn't really coexist well.
I just realized that we're probably going to get to see how Jar Jar becomes a senator in these books,
I think you're right.
which is deeply amusing to me.
Yeah.
We'll see how I feel about it as we're reading it, but at this moment, it feels very amusing that could be in our future.
I kind of want to know if the audiobook person is going to try to do a Jar Jar voice. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's only fitting because then you have representation of both races of the planet in the Senate.
Oh,
And
for
I feel
sure.
like that should have already been a requirement.
100%. I completely agree. I just think it's funny that Jar Jar was the choice.
Hey, man, he's a Bombad general.
Sort of. He's a lucky klutz, is what he is. There's also a very sweet mention of Qui-Gon in this section. And how everyone on Naboo knows of Qui-Gon in the sacrifice he made. Gosh, I cannot talk today. The sacrifice he made for Naboo. And that was very sweet to hear. So.
He's a local legend. Honestly, I wonder why they don't have a statue of him. Maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. He would hate that.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, so what's going to happen next? We've got. What do you think?
Well, I was just going to ask if you think that Tonra and Sabe are going to fall in love,
Yes.
stuck on this little mission together. I think
They're
Tonra already
already.
has feels.
Yeah.
I don't think Sabe is interested at this point, but
They're already kind of playing house.
oh, for sure they are. They
Like,
100%. That's exactly what they're doing.
like well, they like legitimately were as part of their like
Yeah.
cover story. So no, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna catch some feelings,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be complicated, and they're on this crazy mission to liberate slaves,
Right.
and they both feel passionate about it. They're gonna get into dangerous situations where they have to like save each other's lives. Yeah, they are going. Yeah, we
The
all know
perfect setup.
it is the perfect storm.
Yeah.
They're gonna end up trauma bonding over some crazy stuff that happens.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. Probably next chapter.
yeah. So
No, next chapter they're going to Coruscant, I bet. Well, that's where they're headed.
yeah.
So
they're going to Coruscant. I hope that we get some more interactions with Senator Organa because I'm still confused on why he was down there.
he's being so icy,
Yeah,
which
he's
is
being
weird because that is not our perception of Senator Organa.
yeah.
Like every portrayal of him in the movies and in Andor, I guess in Andor there are parts where he's kind of harsh. But
Yeah. I
but
wonder
it
if in
makes
this
but it makes sense
yeah.
in those instances. I
In
guess.
if I wonder if in the same way that there's this Amidala persona, maybe he has his own Organa persona, his own like senatorial version of himself that he kind of puts on.
Very possible. Very
Yeah.
probable even. Good thinking.
But once they like get to know each other and bump elbows more, maybe he'll become a little more
Yeah.
less guarded.
Less chilly.
Yeah.
He's quite chilly at the moment. But interesting.
Yes. Yes. And maybe we'll see some more Mon Mothma stuff.
I hope so. I hope so.
You do.
You know, there's like in the movies, there's precedent for Organa and Amidala to like know each other and like he's there when her children are born and everything, right? So, and he takes one of her children as
Yeah.
his own. So there's precedent for him to be very present in these books. We don't have any Mon Mothma connections other than she's part of the rebellion. And we know that
Right.
she has a connection with Organa, but seeing her with Padme would be really cool.
Well, we do see her with Padme in a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith.
Right. I wasn't
So-
counting that because it was a
No,
deleted
I know.
scene.
Because it's a deleted scene. But I'm wondering if we're going to kind of like, in the book, see them interact.
Yeah. I hope so.
In a official, like, canon way.
I hope so.
And not in a, oops, cutting room floor way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who do we think the murderer is?
Oh,
I think
mean,
it's Palpatine, but
right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's still, the Trade Federation
for sure.
in some way.
Could be.
And there's this bizarre thing in episode 2 where like someone tries to kill her again and she's like, I think Count Dooku's behind it. So I wonder if there's going to be some kind of thing with him in this book. Like how does
that's
she
a good
know
point.
like how does she know who Count Dooku is,
Right. That was, yeah. So it's episode 2, 10 years later. That felt very out of left field.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm curious
That'd be
about
good.
that.
To get that sorted out.
Iron out the wrinkles in the weird plot that is episode 2 because it is a strange movie. Even if you go back
Really is.
if you go back and watch it with like a non-nostalgic critical eye, it is a bizarre watch.
Blake described them last night. We were going through his DVDs and everything because they're moving here. And he has episodes 1, 2, and 3. And he was like, "We can donate these." And I was like, "Wait, let me make sure I don't remember if I have them or not. If I don't have them, can we keep them?" And he was like, "They're not good movies." And I was like, "Oh, I know." But they are.
They're nostalgic movies.
I was like, "We watched them together." And he was like, "I know. And they still weren't that good." And I was like, "Honey, just let me see if I have them. If I don't have them, I want to keep them. But if I do, we can get rid of them. It's fine. We don't need multiple copies."
Yeah.
But
Yes.
anyway, it was very funny.
Yes. They're rough movies with shining moments scattered throughout. But
Yeah.
overall, it's a rough time. Anyway, this isn't a critique of the prequel movies.
No, and I'm sorry, I don't mean it to be. I think there are some really good elements in the prequel movies. Genuinely.
No, I just meant that's not the point of the content we're creating this moment. This is
that I think that this builds on the like really good things.
Yes, I think that I agree. I think that it's going to kind of like make some things make more sense, hopefully.
Yeah. Like, I've always been a Padme Amidala fangirl, but like this giving her more depth of character, it's fantastic. In my humble opinion.
Agree.
So,
what are we supposed to read for next time?
good question. For next time, let me get in my book. Chapters 9 through 11.
9, 10, 11.
Oh, that Senator Bonteri is going to come back up. So, that was the name of that
Good to know.
Bonteri.
Now we know.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, I guess until next time, happy reading.
We'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.